Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be a book haul video, my December book haul. I've been accumulating books for the last couple of weeks and I wanted to share them with you. I feel like it's going to be a good one. It's been a good one. I feel like lately I've been finding really good books. I've been trying to find new like indie secondhand bookstores. They tend to have higher prices than like Value Village or library sales where they're like $1. But I've been finding some that I've been really looking forward to finding. So it's been great. I also have a couple new ones. So I'm very excited. We're going to start with these ones. I have an unboxing. I feel like I never do that because I have no self-control. Okay, but really, like I get a book in the mail. I just want to open it and make sure it's the right book. Everything is okay. Otherwise, it's killing me right now. So we're going to start with this one, which by the way, a lot of you have been saying that you love the background, which I do too. I'm not even done decorating. I still have to do things and it looks so cozy. In January, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to not want to take it down. So maybe I'm going to be that person that keeps their tree until like February. So we'll see. But let's go through the books, the important part. So I got a book from Indigo. We're going to open it. I know what it is, but it was back ordered. Like I ordered it, they said a week or two and then they had issues, but I wanted specifically this cover. This was 100% a cover buy. It has been recommended, but let me open it. Is it even the right book? Yes, it is. Okay. This is the book. It's a cover buy, but it has been recommended to me too. So like, you know, I don't do that super often, but I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone once in a while. I've done it a lot this year and I've had my best reading year ever. So coincidence? I think not. This is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead, which just the title, I'm sold. I'm sold. And again, this cover, I don't even remember what the other versions look like, but this one is the prettiest one that I remember. So it's not super long. It's like 200 and something pages. Yeah, not even 250. But I've heard that this would give me an existential crisis, which cool. But yes, I'm trying to get some recommendation for contemporaries, giving them a chance because again, they're not my main thing, but once in a while I find a really good one and this one was recommended. So I listened, I got it. I'm trying to find a spot for you to see them accumulate. So second one, I also bought new. I've been trying to read more nonfiction. I've been having the time of my life. I usually read like 5 to 10 a year. I was going to say a year. And this year I have read 30. I did a video reviewing all of them. If you are interested, I'll link that if you want to. But I've been trying to find some that have topics I'm into. And this one is called Bird Strike, The Hidden Fight Over Women's Work. And it's basically about like everything that is like invisible labor, whether it's like mental load or like pregnancy, childbirth. I feel like it's a huge sacrifice that people with uteruses go through. Like I don't want kids because I know how much of a sacrifice it is. Kudos for the ones that do go through it. And I feel like it's especially important to read about it and discuss it with everything that's been going on in the US specifically. I believe this one was published in the US. Yes, the author is American. So like obviously super relevant at the moment. I'm from Canada, so we're just across the border and unfortunately US politics end up affecting us very much. So I think this is a really important topic to read about. So I'll let you know, but once again, it's not too big, but I've been trying to find books that are interesting. Although this specific topic will probably be very frustrating, but after this year, I'm used to it. The next three were actually from my Amazon wish list, so this feels like Christmas. So the first one is The Lost Metal. This one was given to me by Catherine. Yeah, Catherine, thank you so much. I'm so excited to finish this series. This is the fourth and last book in the second Mistborn series. I feel like every time I try to explain that to people, it's overwhelming, but there's the first Mistborn trilogy, which I adored. This one is like kind of medieval inspired, but I love the world building, the magic system, and it continues in this one, which this one is more like Western. I call it cowboy and like pew pew, but that's just me. But it's really interesting to see how the magic system has to evolve because people have guns and people can push or pull on metals, so obviously changes everything. In this one, I'm less invested in the stories, but I feel like the characters are really likable, especially the friendship between the two men, so I'm very much curious to hear how it's gonna go. I've heard that this book and the ending is really good, which no one should be surprised. Brandon Sanderson tends to have really fantastic endings. And then afterwards it's supposed to be, again, same world, but with computers and later on like another series with spaceship, which like, how is he going to do this? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Actually, I have read the first 3 chapters because I got on NetGalley like a excerpt you could have for free. anyone in advance. It got archived before I could finish the 10 chapters. I've only read the first 3, so I'm very happy to have my own copy to be able to finish it. It's bigger than I expected. I think it's the biggest one in this series. It's just over 500 pages, I believe. Yeah, just 500 pages. So looking forward to reading it. Thank you so much. The next one is Children of Memory. Thank you so much, Victor. Have you noticed there are certain words and names I cannot say except in French? How do you say Victor? Not in French. I don't know. But this is the last book, probably, in the Children of Time series by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I adore Children of Time. It's one of my favorite First Contact with Aliens because the author managed to make me root for giant intelligent spiders. If you can manage to do that, I will read your books. So this is the 3rd installment of it, and I have no idea where it's going to go. No idea. It's also pretty chunky, as big sci-fi tend to be. It's just under 500 pages, but it's pretty big. But the especially good news here is that I'm going to be doing, once again next year, my attempting to finish book series, and I want to do 10. And both of these are the last book in a series, or at least I would catch up. We didn't know if it was going to be a trilogy, so I'm wary to say that it's the last book, but I think it is. So if I finish both of these, I would finish 2 series, which would help me a lot because I will struggle next year. I know it. And then last but not least, thank you so much, Jeff, for giving me 100 Years of Solitude, which I feel like it's the book that you think about whenever you think of magical realism, which my relationship with magical realism has been complicated, but once in a while I find one that I really, really like. Like, I feel like Piranesi, for example, would definitely count as magical realism, and I love that one. Really took me by surprise, but otherwise it's been hit and miss. But I feel like if I'm going to like something in that genre, it's going to be this one. Plus, have you seen this cover? Absolutely stunning. I don't know why they print stickers on them, but absolutely stunning. So I will attempt to read this soon, and hopefully I will love it as much as everyone else. I feel like I keep hearing about it, and now I want to know. Next, we have my thrift finds. I screamed a little bit whenever I saw this. This is Reasonably Tears, which is one of the best books that I've read this year. It will be my best of the year, so I'm not going to go in length at this point. I feel like I've been saying the summary 50 times, but this was so good. I've been calling it actually this like a dad recommendations, and I actually told my dad that I want him to read this because I keep saying it's a dad recommendation. I need like his seal of approval. Otherwise, I'm just saying words, right? The only 2 books I've managed to make my dad read ever since I've been on Booktube is Dark Matter and Recursion by Blake Crouch, which I've also been calling dad recommendations. So I feel like it's only fair. It's not too big. It's a quick read. I got so emotionally invested. I'm actually currently reading Blacktop Wasteland by the same author right now because I wanted to know if it was like a one-hit wonder for me or if he's just a new favorite author. I unexpectedly fell in love with this, so I'm super happy. I'm trying to like find the books that I've read and loved physical copy of, like if I've read them from library. This one I had the ebook, but I want to own physical copies of my favorite books. Otherwise I feel like my bookshelves don't represent my taste, you know? So excited. Next, you can see the colorful covers of these 2. Also going to be in my best books of the year. This is book 2 and 3 in the either Xenogenesis or Lilith's Brood series. I don't know why there's 2 names, but I assume someone grabbed book 1. This was at a library sale, so I'm assuming someone got book 1. Silly mistake by them, but I'm happy because I got the other 2. My copy is the 3 books in 1 edition, which is really practical whenever you just want to buy 1 book. You know, you're saving money. But it's also one of the ugliest covers literally ever. I remember the first couple times I would mention this book, you could see my audience retention going down because nobody wanted to hear what it was about because it looks ugh. But it is such a good book. So if I have the pretty covers, you have no choice. I'm gonna like convince you to pick them up because easily one of the best book series I've ever read. It's a First Contact with Aliens, but book 1 is very accessible. Things do get weirder afterwards, but it's just so interesting. The conversations the author starts. Oh, so good. Anyway, I'm really happy. I have these gorgeous editions. I'm just happy in general that they're coming out with prettier editions of her work because otherwise it's hard to convince people. We're all a little shallow. It's okay. But yes, book 1 is also really, really stunning. But yes, now that I have these 2, I only need the first book. And I'll have the whole trilogy. Okay, the next one, it's an unfortunate event. I got Fleabag, the scriptures. And I'm saying it's a sad thing because this I bought for a friend. We were trying to find each other like used secondhand gifts for Christmas. And this doo-doo head, and I say this lovingly, but this doo-doo head bought herself this book. I thought this was a well-known rule that you don't buy yourself anything like a month or two before Christmas. You just don't. So now I have my own copy, which is fine. I do like Fleabag. I especially like her relationship with her family, specifically her sister. I laughed so many times, but it's such a weird show to recommend because of the way it starts. But season 2 is amazing. And anyway, I have the copy now. I might actually read it, but I'm not mad about it. But I mean, I'm mad about my friend buying herself a copy, but I'm not mad about owning a copy. So it is what it is. So I don't often do cover buys or even title buys, even though I've mentioned some now. But this one, it was 100% a title buy, which I don't feel like I hear people say that often, but it is the case here. Cover is gorgeous too, but The 9 Lives of Rose Napolitano? Napolitano. I don't know. I probably mispronounced this, but it is pretty. But I went through a phase where I was completely obsessed with time loops. I'm still into the premise, but still. And I just grabbed this and I was like, oh, is that what it is? And from like the inner page, I don't remember the name of it in English, but that one, it sounds like you get possible different alternative for this woman's life. And again, that's close enough to time loops. Like everything there's someone reliving their life or like things like that, I call them time loops. I will be doing a video about this topic. But you know how it is. I feel like every time I'm like, oh, I need to read like 1 or 2 more books. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be such a short video. And then it's like 3 years later and I still haven't done that video. So I bought the book. It will remind me that I need to do the video. But yeah, I bought it because of the title. I mean, I did read what it was about and it sounded appealing. But, you know, let's just grab all the other ones in one go. Okay, I got 2 other nonfiction because, like I said, I'm trying to read more. And I feel like owning some puts pressure on me. And it forces me to actually do it. I'm half kidding. But this didn't seem like something I would be into, but I've heard great things, so I decided to give it a shot. This is How Are You Going to Pay for That? Smart Answers to the Dumbest Questions in Politics. Okay, I don't really feel like the audience, well, the target audience for a lot of political books. I mean, Birthstruck is definitely political, but I feel like this is what I think about when I'm like, okay, I want to read this book and it's political, not this. But again, I've heard great things and I do think it's funny, the whole like smart answers to the dumbest question. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated, but I've heard good things. Otherwise, this would not have appealed to me. This is not my kind of book, but I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. And again, I've seen people that I trust say it was good. So I took the risk and grabbed it. The next one, quite frankly, I picked it up because the cover reminded me of something else. Listen, secondhand bookstores, I get sucked in. Books are cheap. The Heart of Showing Up. How to be there for yourself and your people. Okay, this sounds a little self-helpy, but I swear this cover reminds me of something and I can't pinpoint what it is. And I'm hoping that this book is going to be good, but I am trying to read more books about like friendships. I feel like that's a big issue in our society, how we're like so pushed into like extreme independence and like individuality when like what we need is like a strong community. Anyway, so maybe this will appeal to me. But if you can think of a cover, another book that looks like this, let me know because it's been bugging me and I'm pretty sure I picked it up mostly because of that. So moving on. I'm also collecting these books. These are the SF Masterwork. They're classic sci-fi. They have the yellow spine. You've most likely seen them in my background usually, not this background, but they're right over here in the middle shelves I have now. All my sci-fi are there. And I'm trying to collect enough to do a full row. Actually, ideally, I would like to do like a row on both shelf. It would be so pretty. But they're also getting really hard to find. And when I find them, they're in bad condition. And I'm trying to only get the ones I'm actually interested in reading so I don't just hoard them. But this one, obviously the spine caught my eye. But the title too, The Body Snatchers. That sounds cool. And from the back, which let me reread this. Yeah, it kind of sounds like sci-fi horror. Like this woman says that her uncle is not or uncle. That sounds cool to me. Again, I've been trying to read some classic sci-fi once in a while to see. I think it's interesting to see like where it started and where, you know, it is now. They tend to be kind of dry, but they're also pretty short. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's good. But yeah, I like the cover. These editions are really pretty. Kind of creeps me out a little bit. And then I got this one because I saw it on the Goodreads Choice Award of 2021. This is The End of Men, which from what I've heard, it's a little similar to like Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King or The Power by, I think it's Naomi Alderman. Is that possible? I'll put them on the screen. So kind of a little bit in the line of that, like this one, the virus is killing the male population, I believe. So it's kind of seeing like what would happen if, you know, half the population wasn't there anymore. Like in Sleeping Beauty by Stephen King, like women just fell asleep and like would kill you if you tried to wake them up. And in The Power, it was women developed like superpowers that could kind of shock men. So obviously reverse in power, and in this case men are dying from this virus, and it's in 2025. I don't know how I feel about reading books about pandemics anymore. It still feels too soon, but yes, I wanted to check it out. I'm trying to find a favorite with that kind of topic. I think it could be interesting and start some interesting conversation, but I'm still trying to find a favorite, so maybe this one will be. So that's it. I think this was a pretty successful book haul. I found some new favorites and I'm looking forward to reading them. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm filming this during the weekend, so I was going to wish you a happy weekend, but I don't know when this video is going to go up. So I will see you in an upcoming video very soon. I'm going to put more videos on the screen that I recommend check out, actually. I mentioned that I reviewed all the nonfiction books that I've read, there you go, this year. And also I reviewed all the finished series, all the series that I finished. So there you go. Check those out and I will see you in an upcoming video very soon. Bye.